All right, you just saw episode 6 of The Royals of season 3. Written and directed by me. Woo! And I'm sure fans will have good and bad things to say about that. This is William Mosley. He plays Prince Liam. That's That's Jeffrey. He's going to take your questions. So if you have any questions, you want to ask anything, just put it in the comments section. And Jeffrey will grab a few, and we'll be happy to answer them. That was an emotional episode. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Happy belated Christmas.
Only 13 or 18 days late.
Yeah, exactly. Will, that was a tough episode for Liam.
It was a tough episode for Liam. You know, it's funny. It's when I watch those episodes, I think it's probably if you're like a dancer. Actually, it was a great dancer in the beginning, I must say.
Yeah, I mostly meant it was tough because of your Christmas jumper.
My Christmas jumper was the toughest part. My Christmas jumper was definitely the toughest part.
But
when you watch those scenes as an actor, you're always like, oh my god, how much more could I have done there and done here, and because we're always pushing, aren't we, through each day. We don't have a lot of time,
and not a very good director.
But a brilliant director, and brilliant writing. So I just always see what I could improve upon.
Of course you do. I'll tell you, I think most artists do that.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from a good place, right? Totally. You're always trying to get better. I watch these episodes. I see these episodes 1,000 times through post, through mixing, through all of it, and I'm still going, oh, if only.
When you watched it then, were you thinking that? Was there any moments or were you 100% happy with it?
Every episode has limitations with time and money.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, we don't have unlimited time or unlimited money. So you always, I think you Monday morning quarterback a lot of things.
Yeah.
But there's so much of that episode I'm proud of.
Totally.
And so much work you did in that episode that I'm proud of.
Well, the dancing was amazing. I mean, how did you guys go out doing that? I honestly didn't like my part of the dancing.
Will wear the Christmas jumper. That's your own.
I don't throw diva moments, and as Mark knows, I'm always there to lift the camera equipment if somebody needs it. But when they put that Christmas jumper in my wardrobe, I was like, no, there's some kind of a mistake. I don't think this. I think this is for somebody else. And they were like, no, that's for you. I was like, no, you're obviously joking, right? Mark obviously twisted my arm and made me wear it, which I'm still really, really happy about. I still obviously am over it.
That was the best thing. That was the best part about having Max Brown playing Prince Robert. Is on that day I could turn to William and go, Max is wearing his.
I remember what you did say to me. You're like, William, I really do think about the costumes in this show. I was like, yeah, I know you do.
And what he means by that is, I think about all the nice things you're wearing and how I'm going to take them at the end of the season.
In fact, one of them is the jacket.
Don't tell Lionsgate.
I won't tell Lionsgate.
So anyway,
obviously cut that part.
I want to talk a little bit about Liam's his journey in this episode.
Yeah.
I feel like Robert coming back has been a really good thing and possibly a really bad thing for Liam. It feels like Liam is now very focused on what he wants, when there was a time that #King Liam may have been a bit of an albatross from him. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Or maybe you disagree.
Well, I think Robert actually shows Liam all of his inadequacies. Everything Liam in some ways has always wanted to be. He's always wanted to be this kind of strong leader, this kind of head of a family in some secret part of himself. And Robert instinctually sort of holds that persona. And I think when Liam looks at Robert, all he sees is his own inadequacies, which actually isn't entirely Robert's fault.
Right.
I think though Liam knows Robert. You know your own family members better than anybody else. In fact, my brother's here tonight. I'm not going to show you him, but he's here tonight. He knows everything about me. He knows all of he knows everything about me. I can never hide something from my brother or my family. And I think it's the same for Robert. He sees everything in Liam, and Liam sees everything straight through him.
And do you think he's competitive or jealous of Robert at all, or more competitive than jealous, or maybe not?
I think he's. I think actually, I've got to say, I noticed it's something I didn't even realize it myself when I was performing the part. But when I watched it tonight, I kind of saw there was a little bit of a darkness to Liam actually.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I could almost see him going a little bit dark because. And I don't even know if it's the way you edited it actually, but I saw this there was a shade of darkness in it, but maybe he could have gone bad. I don't think I performed it like that, but I think it was edited up maybe some music and some lighting, I don't know what happened, but I could definitely see some darkness, and I think that does come from a slightly competitive, slightly maybe jealous jealous point of view that he was the heir to the throne, and now it's just been taken out from underneath him, and he's kind of been slapped on the back and get out of the way.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard.
Well, that's why it's interesting to me, these last few episodes that we have of this season, and it's driving towards something, and we don't know if it's dark or light yet. I feel like when I see Liam, it could go either way. We know that in the next episode, he's challenged him to this charity boxing match.
Yeah.
We know that Catherine is emotionally at the center of a lot of his angst, and obviously the quest for the crown as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Liam is apt to fight for Catherine, or is it healthier? I mean, obviously she has a say in this, which we heard tonight.
Yeah.
And she felt the honorable thing to do now that Robert's back is to try to put things back the way it was.
It was that honorable.
Now I say try to put things back because once you've opened the box, it's hard to close it up again.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, Liam fights for Catherine. Do you think that's healthy? If he does, or should he move on?
Yeah, should Liam stay with Catherine, or should he...
I mean, she said, please move on.
She said move on. I just think when a girl says that to you, I just think I kind of feels like she played him a little bit.
Do you think?
I don't know if the audience feels like that, but I think she kind of saw like maybe there was... Because it doesn't feel like to me that she really loves Robert that much, but he's in the better position. And maybe she wants that position. I mean, that's a horrible thing to say. Maybe, not that she's a devious person, but I think she, I think Liam really loved her for who she was, and I felt like he felt that was reciprocated. But then Robert comes along and he's got the position, he's the power, he's got the firstborn son, and I think she maybe chose that over
Well, that's an interesting perspective. I think that, as she said to Angie, I have this history with Robert.
Yeah.
We're good together. I have this sort of primal, tempestuous, I crashed into Liam, and I have this sort of sexy thing that I can't deny. It's a real magnetism. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was rebound. I mean, Robert was on that island for 10 months, for God's sakes.
Rebounds can take a long time, Mark.
But I do think that if that's true, if there is just something, an attraction, a magnetism that attracts them, I think it's going to be hard to set that mantle down.
I totally
Whether or
agree
not
with
it's
you.
right or wrong, it's going to be hard to set
Chemistry
down.
is chemistry.
That's right.
They have some intense chemistry.
I wonder, we should do a poll. Let's see if the fans think that should Liam... Now, Catherine said we should do the right thing and put this away for good.
Yeah.
And stop, chasing each other. Truman the Cat coming through. So I'm wondering, let's do a poll. Do the fans, how do they feel? Should Liam not pursue Catherine? Or should he sort of hang in there? And I guess, let's say, thumbs up
to win her back.
To win her back. And angry face to move on. We always go with angry face to move on, right?
I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the fans think. Just because
I think there's a lot of support for Catherine.
I like her as well. I think she's great, and I don't know. You write this thing, Mark. You write it. I mean, all I do is say the line.
You played Liam, and
it feels a bit like she played him. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there who feels it.
We're going to have to wait to see, aren't we?
It's a little bit of a mix right now.
Yeah.
People, we're seeing a lot of angry and a lot of thumbs up.
Well, it's interesting.
Kind
Because Catherine said we should stop, I think a guy has to respect that, right?
Yeah.
If he's going to be honorable, if he's going to take the
if he
high
doesn't
road,
want
he has to respect that.
a subpoena.
It doesn't mean he's just like, meh. Yeah, he's not.
But does that sometimes mean try harder sometimes?
No.
I don't mean that.
That doesn't mean.
I try and ask a question, but
Good
she
God.
has two princes fighting over her.
Well, she does that. I'm saying that it's not as easy as it may appear for him to just go, okay, moving on. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, we still have 4 episodes left, right? So
He makes a good point. But it was very mixed.
Yes, very mixed. Well, now we're seeing a lot of actually angry faces about
Yes,
it,
because you said.
I know.
I'm telling you, I
You
love
caused all of those angry faces by
no.
implying that move on means try
I'm just saying,
harder.
no, I'm just saying.
I don't know how you roll, Jeffrey.
Women are
I'm just
complicated.
saying.
They're two princes.
Oh, just
okay.
stop talking.
Okay.
Jeffrey, I'm usually the guy doing this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's talk about some more disastrous emotional things tonight.
Fan questions.
Liam knows Jasper as well as maybe anyone knows Jasper.
Yeah.
Which is probably not a lot. Jasper obviously did a very Jasper thing in this episode. He, instead of going to Eleanor and saying, here's what's happening, he went and I think trying to buy himself some time to figure out how to get out of another Jasper problem.
Yeah.
Told Eleanor, I can't be with you. I don't want to see you. Can he recover from that, considering all the turbulence in that
I
relationship?
really liked watching that tonight. I thought it was really, really good.
They did a great job with that.
They did a fantastic job. And I really felt for Jasper Tom when he had to say goodbye to her in that sort of epic moment. And she's left with her present, with a more love, just between them. A very epic mark.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Speaking of no time, we had like 18 minutes to get that shot, but it
Really?
was worth it.
It was
looked
beautiful.
amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, we have such a great crew, and it was scramble mode to get
beautiful.
that shot. But thank you.
And I just think, I just thought it was really heartfelt. I really liked it. I mean, they are star-crossed lovers to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And I think, the more you pull them apart, the more the audience want them to get back together. So, I don't know, I felt the tension, I felt the pain from both of them, I felt everything. But what I really liked was actually the phone call was really nice when Jasper calls up his dad and he takes Eleanor's advice. And maybe that was the only thing that she gave him that Christmas, was that piece of advice, which he took and he really went forward. So we know that he really does care about her.
Yeah.
And Sarah Alice obviously that was a lovely moment when they hugged, and I really liked all of it. I thought it was really great.
How about that elf outfit? You didn't want to wear the Christmas jumper, but the elf outfit.
Well, actually, the
was so good.
transition was good when they were talking about the little elf to a little elf.
How about that?
Very good.
I think about these things, Will.
You do.
Let me ask you
don't,
something.
Clearly.
Would you have worn the elf outfit?
How much would you pay me?
That's true. All right, so... by the way, you did something special for Christmas and New Year's, didn't you?
We did do something amazing.
William went and hung out with the Pope.
I didn't exactly buddy up with the Pope.
Yeah, he had beers with the Pope.
I did.
That's what happened.
No, I was very fortunate that I was invited to go to the Vatican on New Year's Day and have a mass with the Pope.
So he had wine with the Pope.
So I had wine with the Pope, and it was one of those kind of amazing experiences. It was very, very, very cool. I didn't understand a word of what was going on. It was all in Latin, but it all sounded really nice, and I was it was great.
That's a once in a lifetime thing.
It was the ones it was cool.
That's cool.
He's a really cool Pope. He seems like he's a very cool Pope. He seems like one of the good eggs,
There you go.
Definitely is a good egg.
What's going on online?
I'm just going to stick straight to fan questions
Good.
and not throw anything
That's
else
a
in
good
there.
choice.
A lot of people aren't happy with you about Jasper and Eleanor.
Yeah, that doesn't
really,
surprise me.
They're really
Hate mail.
upset. Maria wants to know, did Liam and Robert always have this sort of tense relationship, even before he came back?
That's a great question.
We've only seen a little bit of it.
Yeah. I think Robert has always had a streak of wanting, to a certain degree, wanting power, and I think he kind of kept Liam close, but I don't think he ever really brothered him in a strange way. I don't think he ever really kind of took care of him, and I think that though Liam, it's a really weird thing to describe, but it's like they lived in the same house, but they lived different lives. Almost, I'm sure a lot of people have felt like that with their own brothers and sisters to a certain degree. But Robert, I think, was always very focused on what he wanted, being number one, and was even willing to push his brother and sister aside to kind of get it. I don't know how you.
I think that's great. I also think there's a small key to that, to answering that, is in one of Liam's final sentences where he says, I'm not going to apologize for who I've become since you were gone. Yeah. Because it's one thing when Robert was there and he was always the heir, it's one thing to have a leader and a follower. But when you have two leaders in a room, and I think Liam has become a leader in the absence of his brother. Yeah. He's evolved and he's changed, and now I think we're seeing friction that's being caused where Liam may have deferred to Robert in the past. And now he's not deferring as much. He's not going to stand down. Yeah. And that's not only in regards to all kinds of things. So
yeah, I think there's so much in that episode. I mean, I remember when you said I think it was like too long, or you had to cut it down because there's so much condensed into that 45-minute period.
And an episode shot a day shorter than most episodes.
Was it?
Yes. We shot
with the Christmas.
and actually 2 days shorter because we needed a day to shoot the musical
Wow,
sequence.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's an emotional episode, and I understand, Jeffrey, as you said. Of course, the fans are upset. They should be. You know, I love Jaspiner as much as anyone, and I love them together. But I also think that Jasper, until he can come to terms with who he really is, and this past that he has, and until he can publicly own all of that, I don't know when it can get better for them because they can't go public. He's got all of this past that's threatening to catch up to him. And it's just a lot. That's a lot of weight for a relationship.
Yeah,
and I think we see that there's always going to be something lurking around the next corner until he's willing to drag all of that into the light. It's a bit of a struggle. I'm not saying it won't work out for him. I hope it does. I love those two together. But there are, I think, organic reasons why they're struggling. And a lot of it has to do with Jasper not being public and upfront about who he really is.
Kaylee and Lynn want to know if will we get a chance to meet maybe Jasper's parents, his father specifically.
Yeah, I mean, this was a big episode for fathers, obviously.
Michael Madsen.
The specter of Simon hanging over the family in really great ways. And I think that it would be interesting to meet Jasper's father and to see a bit more, to find out more about him. And I would say that there's great potential in that.
There's some conspiracies in the comments too. Is there a chance possibly Robert or Beck or someone else leaked the Jasper info, like internally?
There's always a chance.
Okay.
I think those instincts are really, really good.
Okay.
And we know that Jasper's father will do anything for a buck. But there could be. This show is about leverage. It's about people wanting things and what they're willing to do to get them. And I think that's always a possibility. Although I will also say that it could be Jasper's father as well.
Harry wants to know, how did Simon leave all those gifts for them, and it was super sweet. They loved that moment.
Did you ever consider that, Will? Did you think about Simon and the gifts and all of that?
Yeah, I did think about that. Like why he left it to us before he died. I think there was. I just always imagined there was kind of a wisdom to Simon, and that he probably always had a feeling that, there was a lot of threats on the monarchy anyway at that point, because Eleanor was all over the place, Liam was all over the place, Cyrus was still all over the place. Everything was a mess anyway, and I think he sort of felt, as the captain of the ship, he has to go down with it, and so it was probably, I don't know, I imagine that he always kind of made this kind of reserve package of just in case, like a survival kit, if you will, for all of them.
Yeah, well, we know it was in the 10 months that Robert was away.
Yeah.
Because he left a gift for Lucius. I like that. I like that perspective. It was one of the things we talked about in the writer's room. And the fact that sometimes you see something for someone and you grab it and you put it away, and you think, oh, they're going to love this. It was a little bit of a rummage sale on Simon's part. He's just grabbing shit and giving it to people. It's like, here's my watch, here's my boxing gloves.
Well,
no, it was it's a bit of both, and we talked about it in the writers' room. Part of it was, Simon was also carrying around a lot of weight about the monarchy.
Yeah.
And he seemed very wise and prescient.
Yeah.
And I think it was sort of lightning in a bottle where the stars aligned. And, And that secret door is used a lot. However, Sarah Alice looked a little worn out when she pulled the bag out, so she clearly brought it up from somewhere. She dragged it a long ways.
Well, Latrell wants to know, on the topic of Simon, what do you think he would think between Liam and Robert's relationship? How do you think he would handle that? Would he give any advice?
Yeah,
like
that's
me.
Yeah, Liam and Robert. Yeah.
What?
How would Simon feel about that relationship?
I think that's a good question. I always felt though that from Liam's point of view, Robert was Simon's favourite child. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think Liam always felt that Simon favoured Robert, and that actually Liam was kind of left out in the cold and sort of left to his own devices to a certain degree, because he wasn't quite as important, he wasn't quite as needed, and the fact that he was born second son was just like, well, great, just get on with your life kind of thing. And so I think he always felt that actually Simon wasn't, it sounds really weird, but I think he also felt like Simon wasn't really there for him, didn't really kind of care for him in the same way. And that's why I think the first season works really well, even the pilot of the first season.
The pilot I was going to mention as well.
When King Simon says to Liam, you know, choose love first, or, you know, do what's best for you, take care of yourself, like I'm proud of you either way, you know.
And Liam, at the beginning of that very thing, that conversation, Liam says, are you disbanding the monarchy because of me?
That's right.
Because you don't believe in me.
You don't believe in me, exactly.
It's the first thing he says to,
Exactly.
that's Liam's instinct is, I see.
Because I'm not the chosen one. I'm
Right.
obviously like second, like
Right.
I'm not good enough for
And
this,
of course his father says it's because I do believe in you. And one of the things I loved, other than, you know, Christmas is a time where you miss relatives that are gone. And I think that that's always a nice time to sort of think about your family and things of that matter thematically. But one of the things I love about Simon saying, he got a chance to say to Liam, you're stronger than you know, keep going, the world can't beat you. He got a chance to say to Eleanor, I'm proud of you, because she's been carrying around this thing that I disappointed my father and I couldn't take it back before I lost him. So I thought those were really wonderful moments in an episode that was emotionally turbulent, for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What else is going on, Jeffrey?
Maria wants to know, did the tree really fall on Jake / Cyrus?
They wouldn't pay for a stunt double.
Yeah,
they just we like ran out of the budget, and that's what happened.
It's a really, I'll try to be economical with this story. It wasn't scripted that the tree would fall.
Okay.
And we bring in these decorators and we pay them to decorate this beautiful tree. Aside from our art department, which does a great job, we brought in someone who wraps presents and decorates the tree. It's like literally a tree designer comes in. And they got that tree. It looks so beautiful. And I had written it and I was directing, and Jake was meant to just sort of pass out and drop behind the couch. And he did it a couple times and it was funny. And I was with first AD David Crabtree, and I don't know if I said it or David said it, but one of us said, if the tree came down, it would be like really big and awesome. And so I went to Jake and I said, I think I'm going to have you pull the tree over and pull it over. And I remember our designer, Max, came down to set because he was upset that we were going to pull this beautiful tree over. And we did it, and it was great. We pulled it over, and we have someone who shoots behind the scenes footage, Helen. And Helen happened to be in an angle that was really great, that wasn't where our cameras were. So we pulled the tree over, then we set it back up because we weren't shooting in sequence. We decorated it perfectly. Like during lunch, we had a whole team of people who put it back the way it was. And then I said, I like that angle better. We should do it again. And we pulled it over a second time. And most of the art department were upset with me. But it was a great shot. It looked awesome.
And it was actually Jake?
And it was actually Jake.
Following the tree.
And then when we go back to him for that little pop of him like dropping his head to the floor and the tree shakes, that's me standing behind the tree shaking. So I just called action, and then Jake dropped his head and I shook the tree. And that was that.
Thalia wants you to. She's yelling, Mark, call your mom.
Oh, let's call my mom.
And Deborah too.
Good idea.
Seriously, multiple people say it.
Now, I have a feeling my mom might be a little upset with this episode. Let's see. I think I can do it like this. Will, have you been here when we called my mom? Bless you.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. It's your son, Mark.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Oh, you don't sound good.
No, because I just hate what you're doing to Jasper.
The comments agree.
All right, see, there you go, everybody online. I told you. All right, let's hear it, Mom. What are you upset about?
Well, I don't like it because I just knew they were getting along too good and you were going to do something to them.
That's true, but do you agree that until Jasper comes clean with his past and who he is and what, all the stuff.
Yeah, but she knows that, Mark.
Well, I know she knows that, but she has to keep her relationship behind closed gates. She could never be public with him.
Oh, well, no kind of way, I'm sure. But I did love the part with the presents. I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
That scene was really touching. And, I know they're all screwed up, but you can tell underneath that they just care for each other.
That's right. Yeah,
You can see that, but I don't like the way Robert talks to Liam either.
William is here on the show, and he's nodding his head. He agrees with you.
How are you doing,
Like it.
Mrs. Schwan?
Robert is turning.
Bad.
He seems so pompous. I mean, I kind of liked him in the beginning, but I don't know if I like him now.
He's getting a bit above his station.
Yeah, William said he's getting a bit above his station.
Yes, he is. Yes, and he's making Liam seem like he's nothing, and I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Now, also, Mom, if I leave it like this, the fans are going to be upset. You understand, I'm not saying that Jasper and Eleanor won't be together.
I know that. I know that. It's just that,
I love those two together, but this is how Jasper is. As soon as there's a threat, he tries to he does things on his own. He never asks for help. In many ways, I think he has as many trust issues as Eleanor does. And I think
probably.
And I think that's a problem, and I'm hoping for some personal growth from Jasper. And that, he seems so good with Sarah Alice, doesn't he?
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that I think that there is vast potential for them as a couple and as people, but I think they got a way to go. But I knew you would be upset.
Well, you knew I would, but, it just seemed like when he went and told her, he didn't care about it, didn't care about her, you could see he was doing that, I felt, to protect her.
That's right. That's right. I think he's buying time. I think that he thinks he can vanquish this reporter, he can make this all go away, and then he can rally back. But of course, Eleanor's given him a lot of chances, so we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Okay, Mark.
I just wanted you to know that Gigi's here today, and she baked. She cooked a lot of great stuff, Mom.
Oh, Gigi, how are you?
She won't come on camera, but she says hello.
Well,
All right.
I miss her.
I always appreciate your point of view and your perspective, Mom. You always have interesting things to say, and I appreciate that. I miss you.
Well, gee, thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. I miss you, and I love you, and we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye, Mom.
Bye. Co-host.
Now, you could hear it in her voice, couldn't you? There was no,
Really
hi,
good.
Marky.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm upset.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, Jeffrey, what else is happening out there?
Jenny wants to know what was Eleanor's gift to Jasper? We never got to see him open it.
Oh, well, she did say what it was. I want her to go back and rewatch. In the scene with Liam at the dinner table, she says what it was.
Okay.
You know what it was, right, Will?
Yeah.
You know what it was. She says at the table, she says, I got Jasper the best gift. And she says what it is. And you
really don't remember.
You know why? You know why?
Prompt. A letter. She got him a letter.
He goes prompt. Because
Obviously.
they make you live tweet. I mean, because you're excited to live tweet.
I love live tweeting. Love that.
That's
I love
why.
live tweeting.
My mom mentioned something that I thought was really interesting. She talked about the family, even though she called them screwed up. She said they have each other's backs, and you can tell that they love each other. This family rallies back from trouble. They rally back from incident, I think, and I think they do genuinely circle the wagons and have each other's backs, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think it's kind of the same with all families, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you can't live with them, but you can't live without them.
Yeah, I think. Yes.
Nobody knows how to push your buttons and drive you crazier than your family.
Yep.
But it's also like the people you want when you're on your deathbed, so it's kind of how it goes.
Well, this family, as Eleanor says, she's talking about, of course, the people of the country as well as her family. When she gives this monologue at the end, when she gives the Christmas address, and says, we get up, we move on, we fight.
Yeah.
And as we know, Liam has challenged Robert to a fight in next week's episode.
It's a big fight.
Yeah, and the promo You look like you've been in the gym.
Ironically, it wasn't me actually. Yeah, they just got Brad Pitt from like Fight Club and superimposed it. You know, it's one of those crazy things. Insane that, Mark. Insane that.
I have seen that sequence, and you do fantastic in all of that stuff. It's a really great episode. Brian Fernandez's first episode next year. Woo! That's right. Jeffrey, what else are they upset with me about?
No, Samantha, I think got the answer right. Samantha says it was the love letter from the one queen that had an affair with her bodyguard.
That's right. I
That's
remember that. Now. I
right.
think I was in that scene.
That's true.
True story. Yeah, that's actually someone wanted to know if it was a true story or not.
It is a true story. That's right. And so began the Tudors, right, Scarlett?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Scarlett is she's all things royal, and she was also the authoritarian on how to prepare a figgy pudding. That's right.
Takes a year, right?
And Scarlett, you should come and get the Christmas crackers and pass them out. So when we're done, we can all do the Christmas crackers. Okay. So you have to prepare those.
Here we are, Scarlett.
Here, there's more.
Danielle's kind of freaking out about Catherine. She's like, whoa. How are we supposed to feel about Catherine right now? She hates that Liam's unhappy.
Well, we should hate that Liam's unhappy. I think that Liam is a noble and heroic character in this tale. But how we're supposed to feel is depends on your perspective. I think you don't have to give them to us, Scarlett. You can give them to everyone. Let me put it this way. Let's have that conversation after next week's episode.
Oh.
How about that?
We're going to learn some stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good final fan question. They want to know, what was your favorite Christmas gift ever? Both of you, actually.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think I know what mine was. What was yours?
Yeah, you better go first then.
Actually, it sounds really weird. My brother Ben will probably remember this. I remember when I got that orange Apollo bike when I was about 12. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was the one thing I wanted for Christmas, and I was only about 12, but it was this bike that I really, really wanted. My parents got it for me. It's lost and rusted and thrown out somewhere now, but it's in the tip. Thanks. Yeah, great. It's gone.
I'll tell you the worst version of that question. Is one year I wanted an Atari, like old school Atari. And my parents had gotten divorced, and I was really rallying for this Atari. But my father, who was a Marine, got me a razor, an alarm clock, and an electric blanket for Christmas. And I remember opening them and saying, "These are the things you're supposed to provide as a parent. These shouldn't count as Christmas gifts. Where's the damn Atari?" And you know what? I never got an Atari.
You're joking.
No, but the electric blanket did keep me warm.
So we know what to get you next year.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Yeah.
Well, listen, Will.
Thank you.
I really appreciate.
Easy. Mamma mia, che spettacolo.
Did I mention that Scarlett's not under contract? You guys all have to come on camera with your Christmas crackers and do them.
do it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get out
We
here.
did it last time.
Come on, Eddie.
Jeremy,
come
you're
on,
a bit of a
Lynn.
Christmas cracker.
Let's go. Come and do the Christmas
doing it?
crackers.
Oh, God, this is like being in the war zone.
How's this work? You grab
You have
this.
to cross your arms, Mark. Everybody's arms have to cross, see? Like this.
Okay,
is this
give
really
this to someone else. Yeah, do that.
Arms crossed.
Do this.
Everyone's arms.
Okay.
Now there you go.
Your arm has to be
What do
crossed.
I do?
Oh, I have to cross?
This.
Oh,
Okay, we're doing this.
Okay, listen, if you want to keep talking about the show, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the Snap and Chat, all that stuff. And we're back next week with a charity gala. It's a boxing match. It's a people auction. It's fantastic. Brian Fernandez's first episode. All right, take care, everyone. We'll